Welcome back, Odooers. Today we're taking our first baby steps into the essentials of the Odoo Surveys application. Here at Stealthywood, we use Odoo Surveys for a variety of reasons. Typically, we use it to gather honest feedback from customers and employees about a number of different things. But it's also great for events and demonstrations where our audience can engage with Odoo's interactive live session questionnaires. And not only do we display their answers in real time, we let those responses dictate where our presentation goes next, so they're always in control of the conversation. With Odoo surveys, we can quickly and easily create any kind of survey, questionnaire, certification, assessment, and everything in between in just a few minutes. So let's jump into our database to learn more about the essentials of the Odoo surveys application. This is the Odoo Surveys dashboard where we'll find all the surveys created so far displayed in the default Kanban view. Each line shows the survey name, number of questions, average duration, number of registered people, number of people who have completed that particular survey, and a progress bar showing how many people have passed or have been certified if it's a certification. You'll notice, for example, that the vendor certification survey is in fact a certification as indicated by this half trophy in the background image. But don't worry, we'll get to all that certification business in due time. To the far right of the survey lines, you'll find a series of buttons: Share, Test, See Results, and Start a Live Session. If a live session button isn't available, that simply means that the survey isn't configured to be a live session. You'd click Share to send the survey to potential participants. You'd click Test to test the survey from the POV of a participant. And you'd click See Results to see an analytical breakdown of the survey's responses. You'd click Start Live Session if you want to conduct an in-person interactive survey where participants can see their collective responses pop up after each question in real time. And you may sometimes see a button that says End Live Session, indicating that the survey is currently in a live session, and clicking that button would effectively end that session. But again, don't worry, we have a whole other tutorial dedicated to live sessions, so be sure to check that out to learn more. Now, when our cursor hovers over a particular survey line, you'll see a three-dot icon appear on the far right. When those three dots are clicked, it reveals a drop-down menu. From this menu, we can quickly edit, share, or delete the survey. We could even apply a unique color for the organization on the dashboard if necessary. But let's go ahead and click out of this options drop-down menu for now. The clock icon beneath the buttons on the right represents the ability to schedule activities for that particular survey, like a follow-up or phone call. All you'd have to do is click on that clock icon and proceed to schedule an activity. But I'm going to X out of this pop-up window for now and keep things moving. All of the survey dashboard data can also be seen as a list by clicking on the list view icon on the top right. And you'll notice that a success ratio and average score are displayed in this view. Or if you're curious to view all the other activities related to your surveys, you can click on this activity icon right beside the list view icon. And that, my friends, are the basic ins and outs of the survey dashboard. Okay, now let's see how easy it is to create a survey from scratch, shall we? To do that, we'll need to click New, and Odoo presents us with a fresh survey template form. At the top, you'll see these 4 radio buttons. Each one represents a survey type that Odoo can pre-configure for you to save time. We have a standard survey, a live session, an assessment, and the default custom. It should be noted that depending on which of these options is selected, the fields in the option tab below will change accordingly. But with the custom survey type, all options are available, so let's stick to that one. After your desired survey type has been selected, you'll add a name to the survey. How about we type in Satisfaction Survey? Beneath that, you can designate who should be responsible for that survey. Since I was the one who created it, I was assigned as the responsible by default. Today, I'm Mitchell Admin, but this field can be changed at any time if needed. You also have the option to add an image, which would be used as the background for the entire survey. Below, you'll find the questions, options, description, and end message tabs. Now, to be frank, the questions tab is by far the most important, which is why we have an entire other video dedicated to it. So for now, we'll focus on the others, but definitely check out that questions tutorial to learn all about the cool options we have available there. Okay, so let's go to the Options tab to see what that's all about. Now, as I mentioned, because we have the custom option selected at the top, we're able to see all the possible survey options available. But if you were to change it to live session, for example, you'll notice that the options change to adhere to that specific survey style. So be sure to keep that in mind. But for now, let's jump back to the custom. As you can see, the Options tab under the All-Inclusive Custom Survey Type has 4 sections: Questions, Participants, Time Scoring, and Live Session. In the Questions section, you can decide how you'd like to configure the pagination of the survey and how you'd like to display the progress to the participant. You also have the Question Selection field, which allows you to either show all questions or have them randomized per section. You should know that this mode is not available during a live session. You can also choose to allow roaming here as well. If enabled, survey participants will be able to navigate back to previous pages if needed. In the Participants section, you can decide who has access to the survey, starting with the Access Mode field, which will click on the drop-down menu. As you can see, the options are either anyone with the link or invited people only. When invited people only is chosen, an additional field appears beneath the Require Login option, where you can decide if you want to limit the amount of attempts the participant can make on the survey. When the Limit Attempts checkbox is ticked, you can then specify how many attempts can be made by participants, which we'll leave on the default 1 for now. Moving down and to the left, we have the Time and Scoring section. If you tick the box to enable the survey time limit, you can enter in how long in minutes you'd like to give the participants to finish the survey. Then in the scoring field, if you choose no scoring, no other options are needed in this section. But if any other scoring option is selected, a couple more fields appear: a required score percentage field and an option to make the survey a certification. In the required score field, enter a custom percentage that the participant must earn in order to gain a passing grade on the survey. Anything below that will be considered a fail. And if the certification checkbox is ticked, 2 other fields appear, one to the right and one down below. To the right, a drop-down menu appears, and you can designate which pre-configured certificate will be rewarded to the lucky participant. And you can quickly preview this with the handy-dandy preview button over here. Below, you can choose which certified email template to send to deserving participants from the drop-down menu. So for example, we can open the Certified Email Template dropdown and choose Survey Certification Success. You can also edit any pre-existing template or create a new one from here as well if needed. Then last but certainly not least is the live session. Now, as you can imagine, this section is only really necessary if you plan on creating a live session survey, which again, we have an entire other video for that, so feel free to check that out along with our documentation for more information. But real quick, in the section, you'll find the session code field, which is a customizable code used by attendees to enter the live session. And below that, you have a session link, which can be sent and shared to potential participants so they can access the live session survey. Lastly, you have the option to decide whether or not you want to reward quick answers, giving a bit of a bonus to participants who are speedy with their responses. And there you have it, party people. That's the Options tab in a nutshell. Fortunately, the remaining tabs are fairly self-explanatory. When we open up the Description tab, you can add a brief description which appears on the first page of the survey, letting participants know about any pertinent need-to-know information before starting the survey. And similarly, when we open the End Message tab, you can add a brief message that participants will see once they finish the survey. Once your survey is ready to go, you can click any of these buttons at the top left to either share it with a potential participant, start a live session, or print out a survey or close it all together. And if you ever want to check out a complete list of all the participants who have taken the survey, you can click on the Participant Smart button at the top of the form over here. And that's it, Odooers. Those are the basic essentials of the Odoo Surveys application. Pretty cool, right? Now with all this new knowledge, you're ready to start creating killer questions for your surveys. So be sure to stay tuned for that video to learn how to get the most out of your surveys with Odoo. See you there!